Hello all, I am Jyoti Justin. I am a PhD scholar at IIT Indore working with the Department of English and Digital Humanities. So my research currently is based on using digital cartographic tools in literary analysis, especially in reading literary texts. So the paper that we are presenting today is co-authored together with my PhD thesis supervisor, Dr. Nirmala Menon, who is the head of the Digital Humanities and Publishing Studies Research Group, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Indore, India. Our paper for the fifth ACM Geospatial Humanities is entitled Digital Literary Cartography and Feminist Geocriticism in Literary Studies, a Proposal. So I will share my screen now. Yes. So yeah, this is the overview of the presentation that I'm giving today. I will follow this structure that is from the abstract, introduction, the contents of the paper, followed by the conclusion and future research interest and references. Abstract, this paper attempts a brief literature review through the history of literary maps to recent digital mappings, exploring geocriticism as an emerging theory in spatial humanities. The paper investigates the ways in which literary maps can be used in feminist criticism as feminist geocriticism to develop new ways in reading and analyzing feminist texts. It also aims to propose feminist geocriticism as a methodology by which the intersection can be effectively utilized to identify and analyze the relations between the different socio-cultural female identities and space. Going into the introduction, time and space have always been at the center of literature, where the positioning of characters at a particular time and space contribute not only to the understanding of the setting, but also to the interplay of deeper concepts of force, power, and knowledge. We have Bakhtin's notion of chronotope, Henry Lefebure's notion of the production of space, and Foucault, to the reason the spatial turn in humanities and Soja's notion of a third space emphasizes the idea that the space we live in is being constantly reproduced, changed, or imagined through the interplay of social practices, technologies, and ideologies. Creating literary maps based on fiction has now become easier through digital literary cartographic tools like GIS, which enable the researchers to visualize, compare, and analyze the fictional and real spaces. The spatial turn in literature could be visualized using these maps. The paper intends to analyze this intersection of cartographic and literary studies through digital humanities. Maps in literature, literary cartography. So initially, the literary maps were used as text that visualize the fictional world settings like Jonathan Swift's Gulliver's Travels. The thematic maps in the late 19th century visualized authors' biography and geographical references in literature, as in William Sharp's literary geography. But from the beginning of the 20th century, maps evolved from serving an illustrative function to becoming powerful interpretative and analytical tools. Moretti's graphs, maps, trees is noteworthy for using and establishing maps as literary analytical devices. Moretti's map on Jane Austen's famous novels shows that she embraces only the picaresque south of England. An analysis based on such spatial utilization in literary works can further throw light on the psyche of the author and her characters, besides opening further possibilities of research. Moretti's static maps paved way for the creation of interactive digital mapping. Barbara Piatti is a pioneering figure in digital mapping, especially through her project, A Literary Atlas of Europe. She emphasizes the need to shift from static maps to interactive digital maps. According to her, the geography of fiction must be characterized as a rather imprecise geography, and she attempts to provide a framework for mapping narratives and identifies the lack of methodology and tools in literary spatial studies. She also identifies the metadata that will give detailed, dense description of an individual fictional space. The criticism regarding using maps in literary analysis is that spatial humanities is trying to validate itself using the factual scientific discipline of geography. Also, there's a spatial turn shifted the focus from literature to geography. But Juan M. refers to maps as metatext, a hybrid product of cartographic literary intersection that demand critical analysis based on both geographical data and literary work. This is a combination of close and distant reading, which Jacques terms macro analysis. It helps to see even more deeper. Maps also help to understand the scientific, religion, cultural, colonial, and military context in which the narratives were written. Deep mapping is another method that is now widely employed in digital literary cartography. It is employed in Joanna Taylor's Geospatial Innovation in Digital Humanities, where the representation of multiple perspectives of the same narrative in different medium, such as images, text, brochures, etc., becomes possible onto one single space that is the map. And this in further facilitates a deeper critical analysis. Geocriticism. Literary cartography or mapping the literary spaces becomes especially relevant in the theoretical framework of criticism, geocriticism, or place-based reading. Geocriticism put forth by Westphal and Talley stresses the importance of space in literary research. Talley coined the term geocriticism and initially focused on literary geography and the relation between the real and literary spaces. Westphal, on the other hand, focused on a geocentric approach, that is, creation of an archive or corpus of literary and cultural representation of the place. Through this, the multifaceted dimensions of locations came into focus, reducing the interference of the personal bias of the author in spatial interpretations. So both Westphal and Talley sees the method to be in its nascent stage, and the theory focuses on spatial temporality, transgressivity, and referentiality as the main points. In short, geocriticism may be used to ask new questions, to read differently, to engage with other disciplines, and to interpret the ways that we make senses of our own spaces. Juan M. is critical of the new geocritical paradigm, yet he appreciates this method as having the potential to emerge as a transdiscipline of its own. Talley and Battista compass geocriticism and ecocriticism to see how both the theories have the potential to further expand space-based criticism. Geocriticism, digital literary cartography, and feminist geography. The digital literary cartography refers to the process of using digital tools like GIS in visualizing literary criticism. So these digital maps are multifocal and polysensual, which in turn are the essential features of geocriticism. So this in turn suggests a new way in reading and analyzing space and place. Such a method reveals the gaps in spatial representations and helps to compare and contrast patterns of representation of the same space across different media and different time. Digital maps act as metadata upon which further spatio-temporal research becomes possible. So James Statler and Mitchell draws the connection between geocriticism and digital literary mapping. Interactive online mapping is one way in which geocriticism can put into practice its capacity to reframe understandings of place and space. So therefore, digital literary mapping fits into the conditions and characteristics of geocritical theoretical and methodological framework, and combining geocriticism and digital literary mapping could be helpful to identify the unexplored and lesser represented intersectional spaces like feminist geographies. Feminist geography is discussed in the next section, which later leads to the theoretical framework, feminist geocriticism. Geocriticism, digital literary cartography, and feminist geography intersects to give a new methodology of using digital literary cartography in feminist geocriticism. Applying geocriticism to feminism and gender research unravels the importance of space in the reproduction and propagation of socio-cultural identity. Wells draws the parallels between geocriticism and gender based on their pluralistic characters. And there are similarities in the sense that they are intersectional and multimodal, polysensual, etc. So this raises the question as to whether place should become a new critical intersectional category in addition to race, caste, class, and gender. Feminist geographies and associated theories aim to incorporate the intersections of race, class, ability, and sexuality into the study of geography. And feminist geographers are reclaiming the geographic and cartographic spaces in the academia drawing parallels between cartography and colonialism. The initial attempts of the feminist geographers were to make women visible, that is through spatial analysis and visualizing the complex relationship between gender roles, power structures, and knowledge production. Such a new method throws light on the interconnections between identity and space. And this helps to visualize these patterns on a single map and to analyze and theorize on the same. Maps are seldom used to understand the post-colonial feminist identity in literature, and therefore the proposal of feminist geocriticism using digital cartographic tools. Using GIS in feminist geocriticism, GIS is one of the most popular tools in digital mapping at present. The GIS is a complex system that maps different attributes and layers, and in feminist geocriticism, therefore, it allows the visualization of different layers in a single map. Manipulation of spatial data according to the research requirements is also possible, though GIS has several limitations with a long history of female exclusion. It was initially dominated by men, and there is a large digital and technological divide. Feminist geographies, women reclaimed their positions in cartographic and GIS spaces, and they have identified the potential and the need to utilize GIS to visualize and factually represent data of feminist research. Kwan is an important example or a pioneering figure in utilizing GIS for feminist-based research. And the constant feminist revival that is taking place in GIS, along with its capacity to adapt to the polycensual geocritical approach, makes it a suitable tool for feminist geocriticism. Conclusion and further research interest. So this was a brief literature review through the history of literature maps to recent digital mapping, investigating the ways in which digital literary maps could be used in feminist criticism as feminist geocriticism. So the research question as of now is how the political, literary, and geographical, historical geographies of a region overlap and differentiate the cultural shifts in political feminist identity formation, and also locating the reader, writer, and the text within the same geography. So for this, close readings of Indian historical fictional works and their representations will be undertaken, and these works will be set against historically relevant spaces and actions. Spatial data for this will be collected from the literary text, GPS, or newspaper, existing web archives, etc., and the data visualization to identify the changing landscapes and culture resulting in shifting positions of shape, space, power, and knowledge, and its effects on the formation of post-colonial feminist identity. So the aim is to contribute to recent scholarly debates in post-colonial feminism, geocritical theory, and feminist geography, and to investigate the pragmatic applications in reading feminist narratives through feminist geocriticism. We hope that the patterns created would reveal meanings that would have otherwise been missed by non-digital analysis. For instance, the existence of a third space, or the space where the real and the fictional coexist together. For instance, the work The Gypsy Goddess by Veena Kandasamy is a fiction based on the Kilmanmani massacre. So understanding the female survivors that are fictionalized and the real survivors and the intersections between the two will be possible by plotting them based on their geographical locations. So the digital maps will serve as meta texts that allow both the distant and close reading. And the intersection and critique of post-colonial and feminist theories as seen in the works of selected writers will facilitate a transdisciplinary research with respect to gender, space, post-colonialism, and culture. This is a prototype using Google Maps, and by creating an interactive map on the Gypsy Goddess, it raises the questions as to locating the women, raising the questions as to where the real women are present, whether they are represented. What are the spatial intersections between real and fictional women? Are there any changes in the spaces analyzed, that is from 1968 to the present, and its effect on post-colonial feminist identity, etc.? So the future research aims to address these questions using advanced mapping tools such as GIS. These are the references that I've used. So thank you for listening.